All right, gentlemen. It's another episode of my podcast, An Interview With. Today I have Jeremy and Austin.
Hey.
What's up?
Good buddies of mine. I've only known for 6 months, 5 months?
Roughly.
Ish.
Sure.
Since October.
There you go.
So,
All right,
I mean,
that's
it's
better
been,
timetable.
yeah, it's about 5 months. I think that's like 4. But anyways. So, gentlemen, how have you guys been?
Good.
Busy?
Busy?
Busy.
I know that we've been hit with the snowstorm. Have you guys been hit with the snowstorm?
I wouldn't say storm. I mean, we got some snow, but not a
Dude.
crazy
Very little. Maybe like 2 inches.
Our roads are absolute garbage right now. I just got back from it.
amount. Oof.
I had to go out and get some food for my wife. Dude, completely covered, even with snowplows going over it.
Rough.
Yeah, it's some of the places around, some of the local restaurants and whatnot closed early because of it.
Mhm.
We're getting hit.
I bet. Sounds like it for sure.
But so, gentlemen, COVID's a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How have you guys been over COVID?
How over it am I? Oh, I'm over it. I'm way over it.
You guys been okay? I know one person has gotten it.
We're not gonna name names, but
One person in this group's gotten it.
oh, I wonder who that was. Oh man, that's a nice wall over there.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, it's been garbage. I know that working from home and just being stuck, if you will, in the house has been kind of rough. It's been kind of rough, you know?
Especially that stretch in like March through like end of April. That was on our end, it was like the roughest part here.
Oh,
Yeah,
They-
that's true.
They basically locked us down, like we weren't able to do anything, or we're supposed to not do anything unless you were mandatory workers, quote unquote.
Which I was.
Mandatory.
yikes.
Yep.
So-
I was not. I was laid off. So
For the people that are listening and not watching, or even if you're watching, where are you gentlemen from? What state are you guys from?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Ooh, Michigan.
Mhm.
Hey.
Hey, it's the hand state.
Yeah, I showed my wife that. She's like, "What?" Actually,
Yep.
like right there. You guys are
Yeah.
literally right there.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, legitimately, anytime you ask, people just do this and you point to where you're at on the state.
Yep.
Like
yep,
legitimately.
yep,
You're like,
right
I'm here.
there. That
Yep.
specific one right there.
Yep, pretty much.
I am from Pennsylvania, right about there.
Yep. Not too far from us, only a short distance on the drive.
Just or a boat ride.
Or yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, aren't you
That's
guys
true.
connected to Erie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boat
Yeah.
ride. My
That's
wife
right.
and I
Could go
just
that
went up
route
to
too.
Erie for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
Interesting. I didn't realize that the lake actually had waves. That's like where I
What?
grew up. There's no large lakes that actually have waves, like true
Oh, okay.
waves. So to go up there and see it, like waves and seagulls galore, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
is this a lake? Are we sure we're not on the ocean? Like, what is this? It was cool. Like the cold weather, it would splash up onto the roots of the trees, and then the huge icicles all over the place. You know, huge icicles all over the place, and I'm like, dude, this is cool. You know.
Right.
For sure.
Oh well, gentlemen.
We're
We
here.
are at the conclusion of a season that I watched dearly. The NFL. We're at the
Yes.
conclusion. We are what, T-minus 1 week?
Yeah.
Yes. Pretty much to the moment, doesn't it start at like 7:30 or something? 8
Something
o'clock?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Ooh.
done. I mean, we're legit a week away.
So
Yep.
so with you guys being in Michigan, I do have to ask, your favorite team
The Lions.
is
Unfortunately, it's the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay.
unfortunate.
okay. So the
But we all
Lions.
have backup teams. See, that's the thing about Lions fans. You have a supporting team, but you always have a backup because you know what you're
You have
expecting.
to.
You
Okay.
have to. You don't have a choice. So just so you know, and this is going to be, a rivalry right off the bat, but Baltimore and Atlanta are always my backup teams. They always have been. I know it
Oh,
hurts. It hurts,
It hurts.
but I'll tell you what, ever since Ray Lewis was on that team and Ed Reed,
Okay.
they were
Reed.
Yep, they were the teams, but I'll always tell you honestly, Troy Polamalu has been my favorite safety. Doesn't
Oh,
matter. Like legitimately was always my favorite safety. And when him and Ed Reed would go head to head, it was the coolest games ever.
Oh,
Because you're
yeah.
like, which one's gonna win in the matchup?
I do have to say, with that, we us Steelers fans do have a one up on the Ravens. We don't lose to them often. We do lose. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But not often.
Didn't
Especially
they,
at home.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but did they win a Super Bowl more recently than the Steelers have lately?
Oh, wow.
Just have to bring that in. Pretty sure they did.
Wow.
Did they?
Sure. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they
The
won it.
Ravens.
Yeah,
they
it's
won
been a
against the
while.
49ers.
It's been a while since you've been
What
around.
year?
Like
What year was that?
2012, Like
It
12.
was it was the Harbaugh matchup where
Yep.
Jim turned off the lights and then went to Michigan right afterwards, and
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick was no longer a quarterback in the league.
Oh, okay. So 2012. Okay, so 2012 was a really weird year. It was a really weird year for me
Mhm.
because that was
I mean, we all
actually
thought we were gonna die.
specifically that year. Well, no. The middle of that year. At some point during that year, I was homeless.
Oh,
Some point
okay.
during 2012. Was it the 2012 season? Or was it the
2012,
Super Bowl that
2013.
so it was the Super Bowl that occurred in 2013.
Correct.
Right.
As far as I
Okay.
remember.
I was homeless at that point.
Oh, geez.
I was homeless
Yeah.
till July of 2013. From
All right.
September of 2012 to July of 2013, I was homeless. Yeah, so that's why I don't remember that one.
I gotcha.
I didn't
Gotcha.
have a solid place to stay, so I didn't really care.
Right.
So that's why I blocked that out. I don't even have
That makes
to.
sense. It makes sense. All Steelers fans would anyways, so it's fine.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
Who has more wins? Who has the most
hold
Super
on.
Bowl wins as a franchise?
Who lost the
Yeah.
underdog Cleveland Browns this year?
Whoa. The
Oh.
Browns are the Browns.
Oh.
At least we made playoffs.
So did the Ravens. What are you
Oh.
talking about?
Whoa,
So did the Ravens.
you have a point.
Talking about?
You have a point. But who's your secondary? Who's your backup
Mine?
team there, Austin?
How about no? We don't talk about that. And I just had to change it because I like what's going on in Jacksonville.
What, Jaguars?
Yeah.
Who likes Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer, number one
That's
overall
why.
draft pick. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Oh.
Okay.
Well, duh.
Oh.
Speaking
That's
of,
Oh.
speaking of,
Oh.
let's
Yes.
let's discuss. Did you guys see the recent trade?
Oh yeah.
Wait, there was a
You-
trade?
You guys sacrificed a lot for that trade.
Oh,
Not really.
I loved it. It was a great trade.
We didn't sacrifice too much. Stafford wanted out. No, Stafford
Yes.
wanted out.
Yeah,
And he said the only team he didn't want to go to was the Patriots. And that's
makes
fine.
sense. They have Cam Newton.
Because
would've
they
never
got
him.
a huge haul out of the Rams. They got a third round this year. They got Jared Goff, and
Yeah,
they
Jared
got
Goff's
two
pretty
first
good.
round draft picks for the next 2 years.
What
There was only
What?
3 other teams that even came close to that offer or
Oh?
matched that offer. I was just reading that up. I want to say it was the Bears, which would never happen.
Da Bears.
Bears. The Broncos were the other one, and the last one was the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, who did the Panthers pick up? Who's their QB?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Listen, I think that the Panthers and the Patriots this year got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
They got Bridgewater. Okay, so Cam Newton, who was doing wonderful in the Panthers, and then he gets traded, and then this year the Panthers do not so great,
Yeah, they did
right?
horrible.
Right? Then you have Brady, who went from the Patriots to Tampa Bay, who's in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Please go.
he is
He's always the
as
GOAT.
much as I hate to admit it, he is.
Yep.
But
Yep.
then they get Cam Newton up to New England, and New England did jack dilly squat this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And which is so weird. Like that just baffles my mind because like you have Tom Brady who has all day, every day they play to throw that damn ball.
Yep.
Right? He has all day. And then how many sacks did Cam have this season?
A
Like,
lot.
how do you there's no way that you go from just switching quarterbacks and then all of a sudden he gets sacked like crazy. Is it because the line purposely let people through? Like what that baffles me.
No, I think in that particular end, the difference between quarterbacks is quite a lot there because Cam Newton holds onto the ball longer than Tom Brady does. So that's the first step.
Ish.
I mean,
On average, I'll give you on average.
The thing is, look at the quarterbacks, right, that play the position well. They don't hold on to the ball for very long.
Well, Big Ben has the shortest release time.
That's my point. He doesn't hold it. So how many sacks did he take? Not a lot.
Listen, that's because he got hit big and he's just like done.
Oh,
beginning of season,
I understand.
First half of his season, first half of his career.
Oh, he got pounded.
Josh Allen-esque.
Yeah, he got hit hard. No. Let's just be real. He was Harrington bad. Joey Harrington bad.
What?
If you're a Lions fan, if you're a Lions fan, you know how brutal it was for Joey Harrington as a quarterback. That was bad.
Okay. You're talking sacks. I'm talking more of held the ball. Ben ran the ball more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like the first half of his career, yes, I'll give you that. He definitely. His rookie year, what year was it? The past couple years, he's literally led the league in least sacks.
Yep.
I mean, you can't count last year because he had the whole injury, but hit the past couple seasons of him actually playing. He's had the least amount of sacks.
Yep.
Which is wonderful. I think Villanueva was great for the Steelers. I think DeCastro was a great pickup for the Steelers. I think both of them have been wonderful, but we've some things that need fixed. Steelers have a couple things, but those Lions. What?
I said a couple of owls that they need to get fixed.
Oh yeah.
Woo, that's all right.
I
guarantee. Go ahead.
I still stand by the need to go for a QB.
I agree with you. And
I think Trask is available at your pick. I think you take him.
We'll see.
There is a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft. Let me just put that out.
This is the Ben draft.
Yeah. Right.
Think about it. Think how many that Eli was in that draft class. Ben was in that draft class. I mean, there were. Who else was there? There were like 4 or 5 good quarterbacks that came out of that draft class.
Yep, I think you're going to see. Now, I'm going to be honest. I am not a Justin Fields fan. I never have been. It's not because he's Ohio State.
Which is hilarious because I have a friend whose name is Justin Fields. Like legit.
Well, no, I
think he lives in Ohio.
It's his style of quarterback. Like Ohio State has the same mold for every quarterback they have.
Yeah.
And they never transition to the NFL. Maybe he'll break the mold, but I don't think so. Like based off of it. I mean, for sure. And if the Lions take him, which would be such a travesty, but if they take him, I will have to state this again in about 2 seasons when he sucks. So, because he will suck if he's in Detroit.
Okay.
Because it's Detroit.
On that lines, the Lions, right? Yes. You guys have had a lot of issues. You've had a lot of issues, and it's strange to think of because like you guys have had some pretty good players.
Oh yeah,
like you have.
Well, we definitely have Kenny Galladay right now. We've had Calvin, we've had Barry, we've had Matt Stafford. I mean,
and that surprises me. Like, when was the last time you guys were in the playoffs?
Jeez, it was against, I think, was it Dallas when they played Dallas and got robbed?
I want to say it was against Dallas this last one.
What year was
It's
that?
been a-
Like 13 or
Oh,
14.
yeah,
It was
back
So
when
around
we
that
had-
time
we-
period.
It's been a
back
hot
when we
minute.
had Caldwell.
So it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like, that's surprising because in that time frame, you've had these good players.
True.
And it's just so if what do you think that the Lions need to fix on? What do you think that they need to outside of ownership? Because that's not going to change. I know that we talked about that before. The owners are kind of
Yeah.
tight
They're a problem.
grip on it. Tight grip on
Yep.
it. Outside
Well,
of that obvious thing, because that's obviously not going to change.
right. Why don't you go first, Austin? I'll go after you.
So I think they've already fixed a little bit of what they needed to fix. Obviously, like we said, ownership isn't going to get fixed. That's just not going to be a thing.
Just isn't.
Um,
Because I mean, you
I-
got a new coach.
yeah, that's part of it. I think the GM, the coach, I think those are going to be great options. The coach has got me really hyped from his comments in his press conference, but I mean, who doesn't?
His fired up conference.
I think
Take your
even though
kneecaps.
we just got a young Jared Goff, I think you still draft a quarterback because this is the year of the quarterbacks. I think that's where they need a little bit of help. I think they should pick up a solid wide receiver this draft.
Okay.
And then from there, we need to just start looking at a little bit of defense. But,
Okay. So you think your O line is solid?
I mean, good enough for a year.
Good enough. Good enough. Okay.
Right.
And then backs. What about your backs? Running back, full back.
Oh, I love my running backs. I mean, DeAndre Swift is going to be great once he starts getting in there a little bit. He's going to be great. I mean, Carry On is done well, and it's not it's common knowledge to know that running backs do decent in Detroit for at least a couple of years. I think Swift will beat that though. I think Swift he'll be our franchise running back for a few years.
Okay. So that's what you think. Defense, receiver, and QB.
Yep.
Okay. Jeremy?
See, I'm polar opposite here. I say you let Golf not have any competition for the year. I mean, you just traded a contract for basically $63 million. So legitimately, like you've traded for a player that he's only 26. He's had some great seasons. He's had some bad seasons.
He had surgery.
But overall, he had surgery on his thumb. I get it. Pins, I get it. But you just traded. You obviously put him in the deal for a reason. You could have excluded him. So what's your reasoning for it? You obviously plan on using him. So to draft a quarterback for competition, I understand sometimes that makes players better. Not necessarily a bad thing. But in this case, our defense was probably 32nd out of 32nd last year in legitimacy.
Okay.
This draft has to be defense. We need defensive ends badly.
I mean,
It's not even close.
That's
I mean,
what the Steelers did.
exactly. And if you go back through history, offenses win games, defenses win championships.
Yeah.
Bottom line is we need defense in order to win this. First round pick, probably looking at the linebacker from Penn State. I always forget his name.
Parsons.
Yep,
Mike
I would
Parsons.
take him.
Hey,
At 7.
Penn State, baby.
He
I'd
is a
either
good
take
pick.
him. I'd either take him or the edge rusher from Michigan, but I'd also trade back. I want more picks. There's not a Chase Young in this group as far as defensive ends, but there are plenty of defensive ends that can improve our team.
Okay.
So I honestly think that's the way to go. Draft a defensive end or a linebacker early. Second round, do the same thing. Round 3, that's when I'll look at my receivers.
Okay.
And I'm also a little bit biased. I'd let Galladay walk. This is me, a guy who wants $100 million. Well, he wants $100 million. And first of all, we don't have the cap space for that. Second of all, he's hurt frequently. Third of all, he ain't that good. He's a good player, but he's not top 5 paid receivers good.
Okay.
I like Robinson from Chicago. He's a free agent. I'd be paying him. You can get him a lot cheaper.
I was just about to say, is there any free agents that you'd eyeball?
Yep, that would be my top number 1 guy would be Robinson. First of all, he's got a offensive scheme for the Bears, so that helps you a little bit there.
Bears.
Pull a little bit. Yep.
Bears.
Can pull a little bit there. Past that, there's not really a ton of wide receivers we can afford right now. So
Okay.
with the golf signing, there's not a lot of cap space. So,
Yeah.
got to kind of pick your battles. But I definitely would re-sign our edge rusher. Romeo is his first name, so
Okay.
go with him.
Oh,
But that would
yeah,
be definitely.
So
That's
you
what I
think
would be
it's
taking.
defense
It has
with
to
a
be.
secondary wide receiver
Yep,
with
it
the
has
second
to be.
focus.
Yep, it has to be that route. Our running backs, we've spent the last 2 out of the last 3 drafts, we've taken running back from the second round.
Okay.
So I think you let them kind of go with what they are. The
Get into their
offensive
flow.
line, exactly. The offensive line, out of the past 5 drafts, we've drafted very heavily on offensive line. We've had
Okay.
2 first-round draft picks. We've had multiple 3rd and 4th-round draft picks on our offensive line. We have a lot of young players in that. I'd definitely say let them develop. And our line was not bad last year. Our line it wasn't top 10 in the league, but a lot of that, this is me knocking Stafford, great quarterback, have utmost respect for what he did in Detroit, but he sat in the pocket and would not go out of it. It's hard
Okay.
as an offensive line to hold forever. So bottom line is, I think Goff is going to get outside the pocket a little bit more. He's going to make our offensive line look better than what it might be, actually.
He is a very mobile, like not
Exactly.
super mobile, but he's definitely more mobile.
Exactly. So I think he's going to benefit on the offensive line. We did just pay Decker. We've got Frank Ragnow, who is arguably a Pro Bowl center this year.
Okay.
And he's got to be signed too. Definitely want to lock him up for long term.
Sure.
So in my opinion, our offensive line's solid enough. We really, let's be honest, fullback, there's very few fullbacks in the league anymore that are true fullbacks.
Yeah.
So
Whoa. Hey, I was gonna say you said very few. You said very few, and I'll give you that. But the Steelers,
they have one.
Derek Watt.
Yep, and there's also Ham, and there's also Ham from Minnesota. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of that position's kind of fallen by the wayside. So offensively, we need wide receivers. There's no doubt. I mean, this year, our wide receiving crew, if I'm not mistaken, our top 3 wide receivers are free agents this year. Marvin Jones Jr., Kenny Galladay, and Abdullah, or what is it? Abdullah? No, not Abdullah.
No.
Oh my gosh, can't think of his name. Amendola. Amendola is
Danny?
Yep, he's a free agent as well.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. The same Amendola from the Patriots.
Yep.
Right.
Same guy.
He went from the Patriots to you guys?
He did. Yeah. Well, no, he actually went to Miami.
No, he went Miami, then us.
Then he came.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like,
he came. Yep. But we signed him a couple years back, and we got him as a So we got him for a very cheap deal. It was like $7 million on 2 years.
Well, that's because he's on the very end of his career.
Well, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like our top 3 receiving wide receivers literally are not on the team. So wide receiver is a need, but it's not $100 million need.
Yeah. I was gonna say Amendola was good. He was good when he was with the Patriots, but Belichick and that crew got rid of him pristine. He still did okay. He still did pretty okay in Miami.
He did. Yep.
But he's at the tail end of his career, which is a shame. You know, at this point, it's one of those, either you retire at the top or you get traded.
That's it.
Until nobody wants you anymore.
Exactly.
You know. So, okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's switch gears just a little bit. I have seen, and you guys, this is a touchy subject for you guys. It's a very touchy subject for you guys.
Oh, boy.
I have seen a lot of issues with the league that need fixed. An example, rules. Calls.
Don't even get me started.
You really don't want this battle. That's for dang sure.
So if you could change, let's. So I know that there's a lot. I know that the Detroit Lions get screwed over a lot, and I get that. Yeah. I do. I told you guys, I've seen it. As a Steelers fan, I've seen the calls. You know, even though the Steelers do get their sway, they do have a sway. Only against certain teams. I'll only put it that we only get calls for certain teams.
Yep.
But we still get calls, and I see it because as a Steelers fan, whenever you see a call go in your favor, you're like, oh, that.
Yep.
Whew. I don't know what call.
Or let's just not mention that one.
What lack of call?
Let's not mention that one in the highlights.
So if you could change, let's, because I know that there's tons you guys could go in. If you could narrow it down to three things that you would fix, whether it be a rule, whether it be no calls, whether it be refs in the league, what would you choose? Narrow it to three.
3 each?
No. Three total.
Three total.
Three
Okay.
things you would change about the league.
All right.
Well, it
Well,
could even be a salary cap.
No, I hate the salary caps as they are. We'll
Yeah.
leave them as they are. We'll let the experts decide on that one.
Yeah, we'll let them go about that. But for me, okay, this is something.
Name your top one, and I'll name my top one, and then we'll.
There you go. Back
figure
and
out the
forth.
last one.
Back and forth.
So, real quick, little off story. So Jeremy and I play in a flag football league, and we have
Oh.
officiated in said flag football league last year. And
Yep.
one thing that we talked about with our league that also applies to the NFL, consistency with the calls.
Okay.
Yep.
If you're gonna call it one way one game, you need to do it the other way, the same way the other games.
Okay.
There's no point. There's no way.
So that's your number one thing that you would change.
Number one thing.
Okay. Consistency. That's a good point.
Yep.
I mean, look at it. Our big example, our huge example. There was who was it? It was it our running back? There was one game where our running back. No, it was Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown caught the ball at the end zone and dove for the goal line. Now you guys know that the rule is you have to establish yourself as a receiver. Once you establish yourself as a receiver, you are then switched from receiver to a runner.
Right.
Which means if you break the plane, it's a touchdown.
Good. Right.
However, if you break the plane while still as a receiver, you have to maintain control of the ball.
Possession.
Exactly. So it's clear cut. The Steelers, it's still fresh in our memory. There was one game where Antonio Brown caught the ball and what we thought was established as a runner and dove. It was called a no touchdown because he lost possession.
Yep.
Right?
After breaking the plane.
Was it McDonald? Was it McDonald that had it, or was it who was it? It was our tight end. It was our tight end
McDonald,
had it.
Vance
Miller?
McDonald.
It was either Miller or McDonald.
I think it was McDonald because I think Miller
I want
retired.
to say it was McDonald.
Yeah.
He caught the ball and literally in one fluid motion caught the ball, dove for the end zone, and they ruled it as a touchdown. His was closer to being ruled as a no touchdown
Then Browns.
than Browns, and yet they called Browns and no touchdown.
That's
That-
because you were playing. That was the team. You gotta remember, Brandon. You got who were you playing against? That's why you got the call one way and not the
can't
other.
You got a point, but that goes back to the consistency.
It does. It does.
It goes back to the consistency.
It does. For
And
me,
Some of them are tough. Some of them are tough, and
Of
I
course.
get it. They're close calls. It's at the discretion of the ref.
Yep.
But come on.
well, that's goes back to Austin's point there. Being a ref in a not even comparable, competitive league,
Yeah.
but being in the discretion of the ref, sometimes you see it different from one play to the other.
Yeah.
Like it does happen. Like you try to be consistent, you try to be fair on all sides,
Mhm.
but sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. One game, you see it a little different than you did the other.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick something on my end, I hate the helmet to helmet contact rule. The leading with the helmet as a defensive player, you get a penalty for it.
So you think it should be
It
removed?
needs to be gone. Yep. The reason for it is literally a flag a ref can throw whenever they want.
Yeah.
Because it's legitimately a call that the defensive player, no matter how cautious he is, can be called for it every play, because a running back is allowed to lower his shoulders and head and lead,
Yeah.
but a defender cannot. Like if helmet to helmet contact is there, of course, if he leads with the shoulder, they don't call it. But again, you have to define that line. And in a
Yeah.
split second, they can call that however they want, and it can be upheld however they want. So to
I agree
me,
with you.
it gives a penalty to a team and can be one of those calls that legitimately can take over a game if a ref wants it to.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
No, I
So,
agree with you.
yep, I'd like that one gone.
I 100% agree with you. I believe that it has taken the physical aspect of the sport out of it. It's the same thing with the roughing the quarterback when they
Yep.
switched it to make it more.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, you
Yep.
literally got rid of what's his face from the Packers.
Right, Clay Matthews.
Yeah,
Not even a question.
you literally got rid of Clay Matthews. Like,
Yeah.
you just eliminated him as a player.
Exactly.
Completely.
Physicality. Any physicality as a pass rusher at that point in time legitimately is gone.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't have the protection they give on the quarterback is ridiculous.
It
Like
is.
I understand protecting players and quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to be a jerk here. There were players
I
who were
wanna see
playing
pain and
right. Well,
bloody.
there were players that played stupid. Like they led with the helmet on no reasons.
Vontae's
Like-
perfect.
Exactly. Point exactly. But you know what I'm saying? There were dirty players all the way around. I understand they try to make the league safe for people, but legitimately, like the protection on quarterbacks, the helmet to helmet contact, they're
Yeah.
calls you can make all the time. Like
Yep.
there's not. It's like holding, right? They say if you listen to anybody, holding can be called every play. So
Oh,
it's another penalty that can be called at any time.
So I've never officiated football. I've obviously played it. I've played in flag football. However, I was a state official referee for soccer.
Okay.
There's a specific rule for soccer for handball, right?
Mhm.
Everybody knows what a handball is.
Absolutely.
You touch the ball with your hands. However, what it is if you do not make, like, if I'm holding my hands here and it's a direct kick,
Yep.
if I hold my hands here, as long as I don't move my hand out of the way to touch the ball, if I hold my hands
It's allowed.
here, it's allowed.
Yep.
To an extent. If it goes
Right.
to your advantage, then it's questionable. That leaves it up to the ref.
Right.
You know, but that's the same thing. Like,
Mhm.
it's one of those. It's up to the ref. Like, come on.
It is.
It happens all the time. It happens
It
all
does.
the time. But again, it's up to the ref's discretion. Do you really want to call it? You got to give advantage. Like, who has the advantage in this?
Exactly.
So,
1 second, guys. I'm at 1% on my phone. I want to make sure that I'm not dying on you. So I'm gonna grab my
sure.
charger. I'm gonna plug my phone in. I'll be right back.
Well, while he's gone for a second, going back on his point, his rule that he would take out.
Mhm.
I understand the helmet to helmet. I know why it's there. It's for safety reasons. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I would just revise it to the point where you do it like college. So in college, they may or may not throw the flag.
Yeah.
If they see it, they call it, but the second that they do, they go to instant replay to verify.
Exactly. I don't think they do in the NFL
I don't believe that they do.
because
And
most of the
that is
reviews
a problem.
are New York, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. So in college, the review goes out and they review it. They make sure targeting's a thing.
Yeah.
In the NFL, they don't do it. It's like Jeremy said, it's just a flag.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
a
a flag
flag,
and that's it.
and that's it. And it's just that's dumb. And I get it. It's for safety, and it should go both ways.
Yeah.
If a running back comes in and he's the one that lowers his
Right.
helmet first, then it should be a flag on the offense.
Yeah.
And it should still be
Correct.
reviewed either way. That's what
Yeah.
review is there for. That's something that that's the luxury we don't have in our flag football league, that the
Yep.
NFL, that college, they have that luxury.
They do. And this year they did try to do like in our league anyways, they tried to do like a ref in the back who records it. So some of that made a difference because we had an instant replay. I mean, we did have kind of an instant replay that if there was a questionable call, we would huddle together and we'd look at the quote unquote film and we would we'd kind of make our pretty much. We would basically get together. Oh yeah. Basically to get together and just make the call as we saw it. And but like he's saying, it's I have an issue with a lot of things in the league with the NFL. So, like I said, we narrowed it down to ones that we thought of, but I also really dislike as an offensive player, you can mess with the helmets. Like you can stiff arm a helmet. You can completely do that.
Okay.
But yet on defense, you can't touch it. So again, that's like another pet peeve.
Yeah, I think it should be even. Like whatever you
Exactly.
have, the offense should be on the defense as well.
Right. Exactly.
I very much
back to
dislike
consistency.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
and that goes with the consistency. Like
it does.
I mean, you both pretty much said what I would change. You know, there's specific rules that there's leeway, and it's.
Right.
I think the refs have too much of a discretion at their own discretion. Like, okay, so do you think that there's this plays along with what I just said? Do you think that refs have a bias? They should be unbiased. If they're refereeing, if they're officiating a game, they should be unbiased towards one team or another. Do you think that a team could rub that referee the wrong way, and so for future games, he will be biased against them?
Absolutely.
See, and I won't necessarily say it's teams, but I would say specific players.
Okay.
And I would probably go down to, for instance, the guy you had mentioned, Burfoot. He would be a perfect example of this.
Oh yeah.
Whatever team he went to, he would be deemed as a dirty player.
Mhm.
So as a ref, you know this, so you're going to watch a closer eye on him than you are going to some other players. Ndamukong Suh is another one. Same situation.
Oh my gosh. How is he still in the league?
Well, he cleaned.
Another one
Garrett.
would be the Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews, exactly.
When they were watching, every time he would get that roughing the passer call, he'd let up more and more, but
Yep.
he kept getting flagged. And I think that's just another example.
Oh, okay. So I thought you were calling him a dirty player. I'm like,
No.
No.
He's
Whoa,
a very
whoa.
clean player. He's very clean. I love Clay Matthews. I think
I think
he's
I'm
a
fan.
great player.
Oh yeah.
I hate the Packers with a passion, but Clay
Oh.
Matthews, really good player.
We can go round and round about how much I dislike Rodgers, but we're going to leave that alone.
Yeah,
And,
that's a topic for
but-
a different day.
It is, but the same situation applies to there. There's also players that get calls because of who they are.
Yeah.
So it goes back to that as well. So I don't necessarily think a ref can be rubbed off by a team, but I
Okay.
could see a player or a coach, and
I'll give you
therefore that
that.
would dictate
Okay.
how they would ref.
So I know I said 3. I'm limiting it. We had plenty of coverage of those 2, the 1 and 1.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Mhm.
Predictions for the Super Bowl.
Oh, jeez.
Let's put it out there now.
Oh,
All right.
I'm rooting for Mahomes.
Yeah, we know.
Not because of Brady, and not because of Gronk, and not because of Antonio Brown. I'm completely unbiased. Completely unbiased. I think that the Chiefs have had a lot cleaner of wins. I really do. I think they've had cleaner wins than Tampa Bay. I think that the defense of Tampa Bay will not hold against Mahomes, and I think that the defense of the Chiefs will hold better against Tom Brady and his team. Personally, based upon what I've seen, I think that the like you said, defense wins championships. I think the Chiefs
do.
have a better defense.
I know I've seen it floated around Facebook. I don't know if you guys have in the past of the Mahomes. I want to say it was Baker Mayfield, Mahomes versus Baker Mayfield, and the NCAA, where they put up like 60 points apiece.
Yep.
Both
Okay.
teams did.
Texas Tech and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I want to say that was the matchup. That's
was.
what I'm thinking, because the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. They
Yeah.
have Tyreek Hill. They have Travis Kelce. Obviously, they're a
Yeah.
high-powered team,
One of the best tight ends.
right? They have a high-powered team, but to say that their defense could hold against Brady and his team, I mean, you're talking about Tom freaking Brady,
I know.
and
I know.
you're talking about Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, LaShawn McCoy, Rob Gronkowski,
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin. Yeah, there's another one.
Gronk is
about-
come on. Look
He's
at
not.
his
He's
season.
not. He's
Look at
not.
this
I know.
season. He is nowhere near what he used to be.
No, not even close.
Nowhere
And
near what
nowhere,
he
yeah,
used to
he's
be.
nowhere near. It's just another big
almost-
name to throw
He's
out there.
almost a
but-
non-threat. Almost
How
a
about-
non-threat.
But here's the one thing that to me Tampa has that the Chiefs do not, and that's Leonard Fournette. Now,
Yeah.
with that, I understand he's not. Don't get me wrong, he's not Delvin Cook or Alvin Kamara, but he is a very solid running back and has been for the Bucs since he's been there, and that gives Brady something that I don't think you're going to see from the Chiefs. But I'm going to be honest with you. My prediction for the game, I'll be the first one to say who I think's winning. The Chiefs are going to win the game, probably more defensive than you think. It's going to be about 27-31 is my
Okay.
prediction on the game. So I'm going to say the Chiefs get 4 touchdowns and a field goal, and the field goal is enough to, at the end of the game, it's enough to hold. It's enough to hold Tom Brady to have to get a touchdown when he needs to, and he fell short.
Okay.
Probably a pick at about the 5-yard line. That's my prediction at the end of the game.
Recorded. You got
So,
it.
all right, so that's my prediction. Now, personal hope of what happens, I'd like to see Tom Brady get a 7th, and the reason is because you can put to bed the debate of who's the greatest quarterback ever. It's over. The debate would be done.
I mean, it's over now.
Well, see, but some people still think it's not because he went to Tampa Bay with an already pre-built offensive juggernaut. That's what people were saying.
He didn't though. They literally traded for Antonio Brown.
They did.
Which
I know, but
how is he still even playing in the league? Isn't he under investigation still?
He should be.
I
don't know.
You know what?
I'm
When you
pretty
have
sure
that much
he
money,
is. For his wife or his baby
He-
mama down in Florida with the police.
there's
Yep.
like 4 different things that go on with them. But when you have that much money, you can make anything go away. But
I mean, and then
But-
they also traded for Gronk.
Yeah, they did. Like I said, but they had a pre-built offense. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're going to call that. To be fair with
They're
Brady,
good. They're good.
the one thing with Brady is this is the first time he's had an exceptional wide receiver class overall. He's had Randy Moss, he's had Wes Welker, he's had Julian Edelman. But again, keep in mind though, they weren't all at the same times. They were all at different
Edelman and
time periods.
Amendola were at the same time.
They were, but again, Amendola was no
time.
Wes, but Amendola was no Wes Welker. Like Amendola could not
You're right.
fit, and
With-
Edelman was Wes Welker, but then there wasn't an outside receiver.
Edelman, Amendola,
Yep.
Blunt,
Yep. Okay,
all at the
No.
same time.
no,
I don't
What?
personally, I don't think he's had the same amount of talent ever that he's
Ever.
ever won a Super Bowl with than he has now.
Blunt.
Blunt
no.
is
LeGarrette Blunt. If you're using
LeGarrette
LeGarrette,
Blunt
I'm
is
saying
good.
Wait,
LeGarrette Blunt is good. Don't get me wrong. He was a very good
Oh.
player.
you're talking about
but-
Tom Brady. You're talking about Tom
Yeah, I'm
Brady.
talking about
Tom Brady. Tom Brady. That's what we're talking about
Tom Brady.
Tom
No,
Brady.
we're
He
not
has
talking about Blunt.
more weapons
Blunt is good.
now.
right now than he
He has
ever
more
has.
weapons than he's ever had.
Than he's ever had at one time.
Yeah.
At one
Yeah.
time,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Right.
I
right.
think he's had better receivers in
yeah.
the forms of Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, and Randy Moss. I don't think there's
Yep.
a question. But at the same time, I think you can basically say, and this isn't to put Mike Evans in Randy Moss's class at any point because he's not
He's
at
not.
all. But you can think of if he had like Randy Moss and he had Wes Welker at their prime at the same time when you're looking at Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like
Okay.
I'm not saying they're the same caliber, but that would be like saying that's the team he has right
Okay.
now. Like that would be kind of what
mean,
you're looking at.
And you can't discredit Antonio Brown. As a Steelers
No.
fan, I can't stand Antonio Brown. I think
No, we're good now. My laptop likes to play this game where it doesn't like my internet because of how it's downstairs and across the place. That's
Okay.
why I'm
Well-
working on a PC.
You can't discredit Antonio Brown. As a Steelers fan, I hate him. I'm happy that we had him. I am. Him and Ben had the best connection from quarterback to wide receiver ever. Ever.
And you can't take away from his high kicking ability. Just saying.
so, so I just, but as a Steelers fan, I just can't. We hate Antonio Brown now. We hate him.
See
hate him.
that's all Lions fans when it was Clay Matthews and Aaron Rodgers. Just saying. That's that's how we feel. Like, and it doesn't change.
I can understand. I just to do what he did, like,
Oh, I know.
to have all of that drama and all that
Yep.
BS happen, and then go to want to go to the Patriots, kind of sort of did for like what 3 days, but then went to Oakland. Well,
Got traded. Well, it was actually the other way around. He got
Raiders.
Yeah, all the
traded.
way around.
He got traded to Oakland, and then he got released from Oakland, and then basically he
That's
gave you a
right.
free first-round draft pick.
He right. He wanted to go to the Patriots. He wanted
Right.
to, and he actually
Yep.
went to the Patriots and trained, like,
Yep.
Not official, but
Right,
trained
right.
with them for like 3-4 days. But
Mhm.
then we decided, you know what? Fine, we're not going to do the franchise tag. Screw you. Go to Oakland.
Yep. Hey, you guys made out like bandits with that. That's all I'm
We
gonna
did.
say.
We
I'm
did.
like the poor Oakland. Like, I kind of
Yeah.
really felt bad for them. I'm like, so they traded for a guy who literally said "screw you" and left, and then
Yeah.
went to another team. That was a little rough for him. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I mean, I understand why. I understand
Oh,
the
yeah.
thought process behind it, but then he kind of did them really dirty,
He did them
saying
dirty.
about the coach and.
Mhm.
But okay, so you think the Chiefs are gonna win, Austin,
I'm sorry. I gotta stick with my boy Brady.
because of
He-
Brady? Because you want Brady to win, or because you think he's actually going to win?
I think he's gonna find his way to win. He's beat better teams.
Mm,
I
like-
might have just lost y'all. Like,
No, you didn't. We still hear you.
oh, he froze.
He did freeze.
And Jeremy,
Well,
you thought you
I'll
were
tell-
gonna be the issue.
Right, I did. So the one thing I will say is he probably.
Top.
Nope, there we go.
There, you go,
There
there
it
you go. You're all
is.
up.
Hey. He's beat better teams.
Like
the Legion of Boom.
what? No, you can't even say that. That was a bad
Russell-
call. That was a bad call. Hey,
No,
by
I
all
don't
rights,
care.
by all rights,
He still
the
beat him.
Patriots would have lost. By all rights.
I-
How do you?
But they didn't.
I'm not even
Damn it.
I'm not even a Seahawks fan. Oh, we lost you again.
Can I be honest with you? You
Oh.
want me to name a team? He beat the 2000 St. Louis Rams. That was a better team than what the Kansas City Chiefs are.
Was Kurt Warner on their team at that time?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
With
then I'll-
Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Marshall Falk. There was not a question that team
Yeah.
that team was better. Now but I'll let Austin keep talking but I will make that argument that he has
brought
beaten
up
better
the
teams.
2000 Rams.
Yeah, he's beaten better teams. And
The Legion of Boom, I do not count because you have literally a guy who I don't think that entire season he was stopped from within the 5-yard line of running into the end zone. Every attempt he had within the 5-yard from within the 5 yards of the end zone. He's not. He's not. He has not been stopped that entire season. And then all of a sudden you're gonna throw it?
I do have a question. Do we know how much time was left on the clock? much time was
Like
left?
30 seconds.
So we technically don't know if Brady couldn't have come back
There's
at that point.
no
either.
way. I don't
I-
know.
I mean, we don't know.
He
you
had
never
no
know.
Deep throw. He had no deep throw that entire game. No deep throw.
He
that
didn't have
entire
he didn't have to though. I mean, he still had 3 timeouts, I think, or 2 at least.
I think
So-
there was 2. With
Okay, so
30
2
seconds-
timeouts.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
running. You're even if you do fair catch, isn't
Yeah.
there still a runoff?
No.
There's no time runoff.
There's no
No,
time
no,
runoff.
no, no,
There should be
not
like
on a
1
kickoff.
second runoff. There should be
N-
1
yeah,
second runoff.
not on
No.
a kickoff. I'm not saying I'm with you. If they everybody in their right mind gives
Oh,
the beast the ball.
I know.
Marshawn Lynch
How?
gives him the ball. I know. I'm not arguing.
Literally.
I'm not using the defense.
Oh,
But to be fair, Tom Brady did play a heck of a game that game. And he did enough.
did.
I mean, he did enough that there still was a shot. So I'm not going to say that. I'll be honest. I don't think Tom Brady, since he's beaten the Rams, has played a better offensive team in the entire league than this Chiefs, like in his entire career. I
Yeah.
think it was the 2000 Rams and the 2021 Chiefs are probably 1 and 2
I don't
as far
know.
as offensive ability.
I think the Seahawks, the when they played the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks had a pretty solid offensive team.
So they did, but it all revolved around Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. That was it. And
Yeah, now
they
that
didn't
you
really have a
mention it,
lot
I
of
mean,
receivers. They
They
had
had Ty
who did
Lockett. They had Ty
correct me if
Lockett.
I'm wrong, Baldwin? Well, not in that season. And if they did, he was a rookie.
Lockett?
So he wasn't the he doesn't Tyler Lockett was not very long in the league at the time of that game.
I'll give him. I think he was like a rookie, maybe 1
D-
year in.
Doug Baldwin was
still.
on the team. Doug Baldwin was a solid number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
But after that, I think they had Sidney Rice. I think that was the other receiver. Exactly my point. So as far as an offense, that's not what got Seattle to the Super Bowl. That was their defense.
So okay, so then let's, because I gotta move on, but let's think about that though. Are you basing that on individual players, like the star players that they had on the team, or are you basing that off of the connection, the unstoppable connection and force that those key players had? Because if you think about it, prime example, Ben and Antonio Brown, unstoppable.
Sure.
Unstoppable. Double coverage, he still gets the ball and catches it, because Ben and Antonio Brown were just on the same page, which makes them a pretty unstoppable offense. Now, granted, their people still had their tricks and they still had, so I think with Russell Wilson and Baldwin, and even though he would have been a rookie, maybe first year, Ty Lockett, and Marshawn Lynch, even though there weren't as many numbers as star players, they still had a great connection that led them to the Super Bowl.
They did, but
do you, when you're talking about an offense, are you talking about the connection, or are you talking about the stars that are on it?
So see, the thing to me that this revolves around quarterbacks, and Kurt Warner was a great quarterback, but never a question there. But he had a lot of offensive weapons all the time. Around. I mean, you can go back to his career, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, go to Arizona. He had Fitz. Fitz at, sticky fingers, literally in his prime. I mean, he had weapons all through his career. But the difference between even him and Wilson are very simple. Wilson is a Brady-esque player. And what I mean by that is not skill set maybe wise, but he makes everybody around him better.
Yeah.
So it's the same type of situation. So in that aspect, Wilson might have been his greatest competitor as far as himself, basically.
Okay.
Because that's what he is. But as far as an offensive powerhouse, that's not there. Like, Wilson is great. And if he had if he had Tyreek Hill or Kelsey, we'd be talking about that's the team to beat. But the bottom line is he doesn't have that and never really has. He's been Brady his career. He hasn't had star players as far as he had Lynch, don't get me wrong. But wide receivers, he's never had them. DK Metcalf, that may change that. He may finally have a guy who is that for him.
Yeah.
But legitimately, up till this point of his career, he's never had the star-studded wide receivers. And that's why I'm saying, like, me, connection-wise, you can have the connection all the way. But Antonio Brown in his own right was a superstar.
Hands down.
That's Doug Baldwin never was. Doug Baldwin was a great receiver, but Doug Baldwin was never a route runner of Antonio Brown's caliber or Torrey Holt.
Even the speed,
Exactly. So my point is of that, like, as far as an offensive powerhouse, even connection, you can have the best connection in the world, but if you're not Antonio Brown at that point in time, you're not unstoppable.
Yeah.
So I was doing while you guys were talking there, I was doing a little bit of looking just to see what their roster was like. Here's what they were dealing with. So obviously you had Russell Wilson, who can turn literally nothing into something.
Yeah.
We all know that. It's just like an Eminem song. Anyway. Then you had Marshawn Lynch, Mr. Skittle Boy himself.
Yep.
Wide receiver wise, he only had Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse. Now, part of the season, he might have
Okay.
also had Paul Richardson, but it lists him on IR for that season. So I'm not sure
Okay.
what
go.
happened there, but
So
he had
Nobody.
some good ones. He had Derek Coleman, which was a good fullback at the time.
okay,
Luke Wilson, good
good
tight
blocking
end.
tight end, not a
Yeah,
receiving tight end.
but the defense is what made that team. I mean, you're looking
It
at
did.
Oh
Chris
yeah,
Averill, you're looking at Bruce Irvin,
Sherman.
you're looking at Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Cam Chancellor, Jeremy Lane, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about a
was
lot of
stacked.
good teams, and that's who the Patriots beat. And you can give it to Malcolm Butler. He did make that play. It was a stupid decision by coach's name slips me right now, but
Pete Carroll.
Pete
Yeah.
Carroll, yes. Dumb decision by Pete Carroll to not run it on the one.
Yep.
But I still give it to Malcolm. Malcolm Butler still makes the interception.
Oh,
They still win
It
the
was
game.
still a
but
good read. It was
You
still a
you
good.
can't
someone
can't
had
take
to
away the
put
play.
your offense still had to put you in a position for Malcolm Butler to win that game.
Yep.
True.
Well, here's the
So-
thing. Here's the thing with the whole thing. I understand it's the wrong call, but it wasn't a bad idea. It was the
wasn't.
wrong
No.
play. It was second down, right? Completely, no matter what, you can still run on third, and he hasn't been stopped all season. To your point, so to
Right.
throw the Patriots off, not a bad idea. But again, you're gonna always have the critics that sit there and say, "All you had to do is give them the ball and you win." Like that's
Yeah.
it. Just give them the ball and you win. Like the game's over. You've won the game. Your defense has held Tom Brady to a low game. Like
Yeah.
you just got to ask them to do it one more 30-second drive. Like it's there. It's for yours for the taking. Hand on the ball. Feed the beast.
See, and that's
And
exactly why I think if you would have ran the ball and scored that touchdown, even with the 30-some seconds he would have had, Tom Brady would not have scored. He wouldn't have. You literally
and
said it yourself. That
Yep.
star-studded defense never would have scored.
Yep.
Never
and I'm
would have
not
scored.
saying he would have, but here's the thing with Tom Brady: you learn to never underestimate.
Don't
the
count
man.
him out. I get
Yep.
that. Don't count him out.
So that's
But
the
still.
thing. Like here it is. 98% failed, but there's still that 2% that you sit there and you're like, it's Tom Brady. There's still a chance.
Yeah. All right. So you think that the Patriots are going to win? You think the Chiefs are going to win?
The
I
Bucks.
think I'm sorry, the
Bucks.
Bucks.
You're
Sorry,
good.
I hear Tom Brady and I'm just.
I know it's the Patriots. I know everybody's the same way. You're good.
It
the
happened.
Bucks, the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs. So there we have that.
I'm just gonna say if I get it right and there's like a pick on the 5-yard line, I'm literally gonna
I will
explode.
pay you $20.
Dude, you need to.
I will
If this
pay you
happens, you're going.
$20.
I'm personally gonna be telling you to go to Vegas.
Listen, I legit will pay you $20 if that's the score and that's the win.
Yeah.
Jeremy, if you get this right, you're picking my fantasy football roster next year.
So, with putting this together, I noticed that the clips don't quite merge together correctly. When recording this, I ran out of storage space. So unfortunately, I had it shut off. It cut off the recording. Hence, it cut off us mid-laugh. I stopped, told them to hold on, fix the recording issue, and then started recording after it. So it's a little awkward. I'm going to keep it in, hence why I'm putting this little transition. Apologize, didn't mean to do that. Got it fixed for next time. You live and you learn, right? So enjoy the second half of this interview. Okay, so to switch it up.
Yep.
Switch it up. We're done with the NFL.
Mhm.
But you guys had said you officiate for flag football, right?
Correct.
So what sports do you play? What sports do you play and why?
Do I play currently or have played?
Let's go currently. Like within the past 2 years.
Volleyball on Thursdays occasionally, and flag football.
Okay. And why?
Keeps me active. I don't know, so my fat doesn't get bigger.
because you like playing them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Jeremy?
I actually also play, of course, flag football, volleyball on Thursdays, same time he does, and then I also play basketball. That's actually probably my favorite to play
Okay.
because they call me Mr. Fundamentals for a reason in that one. So let's just say people don't out rebound me, and it makes me feel good. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what got you guys into that?
Sports wise was my dad on my end. He was, well, to be honest with you, he doesn't like me to speak about it, but it's going to be public knowledge now, so might as well just go there. Um, long story short, he was actually a star athlete in his high school and had a full ride scholarship to Purdue.
Oh wow.
And as a football player, as a tight end, he would have been converted to a wide receiver, but he ran, I don't know, subpar 4.5, so not too bad for a white kid.
Yeah.
But long story short, senior year he got his knee spiked in high school, and actually had surgery and everything else, disc and everything else put in his knee, pins and all different sorts of stuff. So they pulled a scholarship senior year. But he always had
Ouch.
he always had a love for sports. So I, of course, adopted that and played soccer, basketball all through high school and before. And then as far as flag football, I tried to play football my junior year, also got my knee spiked my junior year in high school.
Oof.
And not quite to his extent. I basically was playing Mike linebacker or middle linebacker, and running back came through the hole. I had him lined up, and my safety actually came up and ran him and bent my knee back. Ran him into me and bent my knee back. I heard a pop, and yeah, well, I actually finished hitting practice. Like it was the first day of hitting practice, and I finished it and was like, okay, my knee's bugging me a little bit, but nothing over the normal. And I went to work the next day, bent down, and it popped again. And when it popped that time, I let's just say crutches were used for a few weeks. So
Yikes.
yep. So after that, of course, I turned down football, but found flag football at that point, and love playing that too. So mostly activity at this point. We're not trying to become NFL players, but or NBA or any kind of professional volleyball player. But
Yeah.
I've always had a love for sports. I love the competitive atmosphere of it.
Okay.
So I love trying to beat the guy who's better than me. Like it doesn't matter who it is, just beat the guy that's better than me.
Okay.
And when you get to do it for that, even if it's one play, it's just the best feeling ever.
Hey, Austin.
Jeremy, our dad's the same because my dad did the same thing in high school.
Oh, who knows?
Yeah, my dad actually got me into sports. My dad was a high school football player. He was a good football player. I forget if he actually played tight end or if he played defensive line. That part I can't remember. But he also has had multiple knee injuries to the point where he's needed surgery, and that's why he doesn't play anymore. That's why I asked if our dads were the same, because it's the same injury. But no, he's the reason I got into it. He's the reason I became a football fan. So football has always been my first love. Was my first love until later on down the road, which we'll get to that. But football was always my first love. I became a Lions fan. But back when Brady lost the Super Bowl in the 16-0 seasons, when I became a Patriots fan.
So bandwagon, huh?
Yeah, I bandwagoned a little bit, but it was after the Super Bowl loss.
Still a bandwagon.
Yeah, true. But anyway, so I got into sports. Played flag football. My elementary. When I was a kid, when I moved to where I am now. Well, I shouldn't say where I am now, but the city I am now, we had like 11 elementary schools.
Ooh.
And they all competed in a flag football league of their own for 4th and 5th graders. So my dad coached that. I played that, grew a love for it. Didn't play throughout middle school, high school, actually ran cross country instead, but picked up a love for wrestling. I guess that spurned from watching WWE as a kid. But
cross country as a wrestler?
Yeah. I ran in the fall and wrestled in the winter. And then obviously getting out, I still stay active in the wrestling community. I have been known to help out the local high school in that with people with only some players that know me or some wrestlers that know me, but the coaches really don't. But I just help out at the local high school and stay active there, but mainly flag football because love for football. Played it before, thought it was fun,
Sure.
had a fun time, and volleyball because that's what I got into out of high school, and um, really made a lot of friends, including Jeremy here.
Right.
Hey,
We joined volleyball about the same time. I think you beat me there by a little bit.
Probably.
And then he was creating a flag football team the next spring. And he's like, hey, you want to play? I'm like, well, heck yeah. I don't know anything about this.
Might as
So
well.
might as well. Didn't know him either. And we just got together, became good friends after that. So
hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the sports you play and why. What sports would you like to try out that you haven't yet?
ooh, see, now you're talking more my language. Um, You know, it
Hockey.
sounds stupid. No, see, now it is on ice, but I want to try curling. Sounds stupid maybe,
Ooh.
but I think
No,
curling would
see,
be fun.
curling is fun.
I think curling would be a ball. And
That'd be a
I
fun
honestly, I still have a hope for Olympics, and that's my game plan. I'm going to become this
look at
national
the
curler.
U.S. team. Look at
That's
the
what I'm
U.S.
saying.
team. A bunch of
That's-
dads.
That's my last hope for any kind of Olympic athletic ability. So
Hey.
yes, I am going to eventually get on some ice and curl.
Okay.
That'd be
Okay.
interesting. I've always wanted to play hockey. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to play hockey.
Ooh.
The Red Wings are legit. If you were to tell me to pick one sports team, and I could only watch that one sports team forever and ever, I couldn't watch any other team. It would be the Red Wings.
I'm
They're
sorry.
my number one. I know they
Hey,
fell
No,
into
no.
some hard years, but they went on a long playoff streak that no one was
It-
going to beat anytime soon.
See, I would have agreed to play hockey if it was the hockey of old. The new age
Yeah.
hockey sucks.
Yeah.
Like back when it was the 80s and 90s and it was Red Wings and Avalanche.
You mean
And
you
you-
mean Lemieux? You mean Lemieux era?
Well, yeah.
You
but
mean the Lemieux Yager?
you mean the
Era?
Brendan Shanahan and Iserman era?
You
mean?
mean
Oh.
Lemieux and Yager?
Oh. No,
Is
we're
it-
talking. We're talking
Era?
the Cronwall era.
No, the Derek McCarty, the Derek
Oh, yeah,
McCarty
there you go.
era.
There you go.
Oh,
But no,
There's a
see
name
those
for ya.
those were the games though. Like I would have agreed. Like playing hockey. See, if I ever
Okay.
played hockey, the first, and I'll be honest, I tell everybody the same thing. If I were to play hockey and I felt like somebody cheap shotted me, I'd be so far in the penalty box because I'd
Ooh.
take my stick and go over the top of the head with them. I'd whack him in the back of the head. I'd knock him out. I'd be like, "Frick you, dude! Like you're going down. I don't care if you're 6'8". I'm taking my stick and whacking over the top of the head."
If I knew how to ice skate better,
Right?
if I knew how to ice skate better, I've played deck hockey. In fact,
Okay.
actually, funny story, little side tangent, and then we'll move on. My wife and I, the first date that we went to was a deck hockey match. We had I had just spoken with her. I'm like, oh man, blah 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 blah, and then I'm like, hey, do you wanna? I have a deck hockey game tonight. You wanna? Do you wanna come along? She's like, yeah, sure. First period was so the 3 teams, right? We were team A. So team A played team B the first game. Team B played team C the second game. And then team A played team C the third game. Okay. We were team A. So we had the first and third game. The first period of the first game, I didn't have gloves. I didn't know gloves. I knew gloves were a thing, but I didn't have them. First period of the first game, guy high sticks and slashes down on me, hits my finger, breaks my finger, broke my finger. I'm bleeding
Yikes.
profusely from my finger. Played the rest of that game, buddy taped it together, played the third game, and then we went to the ER.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
First date. First date.
Nice.
Beat that one.
Can't beat that one.
Right?
Nope,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try.
Like she even
Nope.
went to the ER with me.
Nice.
I was like, yeah.
That's how you knew you had a good wife right there, or future wife.
Exactly.
You're like, if she's willing to come to the hospital with me on a first date, that's wifey material there.
Yep. But So I know deck hockey. I love deck hockey. I'm the reverse Happy Gilmore. I took golf, my drive, like my tee off in golf, and I took that to hockey and had one hell of a slap shot. Like there were
Nice.
games where I shot from the blue line and scored.
Nice.
Like, so if I knew how to ice skate, oh, you bet your behind I'd be on that rink. I'd be in that rink playing all the time. Whew. But so with that being said, obviously you guys watch different sports. What sports do you follow? And what teams specifically, if you have a team?
Jeremy, I'll let you go first.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and a scholar. What I currently follow, I'll be honest, because of not having cable, it's hard for me to watch a lot of sports.
Yeah.
But I do follow, of course, NBA, NHL. MLB is probably the least of the major sports.
Okay.
Just because I enjoy playing baseball, I hate watching it.
I can understand.
It's very boring. But I can't tell you players' names, but I actually do watch like national volleyball when I can,
Okay.
like indoor. I can't tell you names and stuff, but I enjoy watching the effort that's put forth.
Okay.
And normally the US is up there, but surprisingly, countries that you wouldn't think, like Belgium, have been a top team in several Olympics.
Okay.
And France, another good top team. And like, I mean, Spain's been there. Like, it switches like powerhouses every several years, but like, it's very interesting to watch. But yeah, definitely mainstream, of course, is NBA and NHL, outside of football, of course.
Yeah.
And other than that, not really too much that I follow other than the occasional national volleyball,
Okay.
association games.
Hey.
As far as teams, US teams, I follow the Pistons, of course. Any Detroit team, basically. Red Wings,
Well,
Pistons,
given.
of course. But I actually really like Oklahoma City in the NBA. They're
Really?
one of my favorite teams to watch. I like them since
OKC.
since they've been a thing. Kevin Durant, I followed him since then, and I continue to follow him. Yeah, he did him dirty, but it is what it is. But I'll tell you
Chasing
what,
that money.
he did, and rings, and the rings. But to be honest, what they've done in the past couple seasons, getting the draft picks that they've racked up, huge plus to them. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with probably in about 3 to 5 seasons.
Okay.
So, and then as far as NHL, the backup team, of course, you always have to have one as a Detroit fan. I've always been a fan of the Nashville Predators. So
Okay.
do enjoy them. PK, got to go with Subban, man. Come on.
Ooh.
I know you can give me all those looks you want, but tell you what,
How dare you?
until you have been to their stadium and watched, just saying, you can't knock me. By the way, fun fact, the Chicago Blackhawks, they are amazing at watching the national anthem, how they do it. Amazing.
Okay. Okay.
Fun fact. Watch the YouTube videos, worth every second.
I will definitely take a look. Austin?
For the most part, I just follow the mainstream four, NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, NCAA side of all those. Well,
Whoa. We're not talking college.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. You don't want to
That's
get
a
into that with me.
whole nother thing.
Yes, it is.
We're doing pro.
No, I follow
Pro
the four
sports.
main four. I'm just a big sports fan in general. I follow
Okay.
all 30, 31, 32 teams of each. To be truly honest, I only pick Detroit as my favorite four, across the four.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Detroit, Michigan native. Like, of course, I'm gonna pick Detroit.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I like watching every single team.
Okay.
They're all fun to watch. They all have their own traditions. Nashville, can't knock them. They have probably one of the best crowds ever. Some of their chants are very fun. But
Aren't they the one with the cell block? 303 cell block or whatever?
I don't think that's them. They're the ones that'll like do the "You suck" chant more so.
Well, I think the Nashville
Nashville
Predators have it's section 303. They call it the cell block.
cell block.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know everything about every team yet, so
I only know that
But-
because I
You never
played
will.
NHL. I only
Yeah.
know that because I played
Yeah.
NHL 19 as be a pro.
Yeah, of
Gotcha.
course.
and I was put with the Nashville Predators.
Predators. I gotcha.
gotcha.
See,
Yeah,
I was out. I was always the number one pick, Brandon, so I never had to worry about Nashville.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was too. I went to the Buffalo Sabres, and then
Yeah?
the Sabres did me dirty and was like, "Whoa, we're not gonna pay you, but we want to renew your contract." And I'm like, "Screw you." Going Nashville.
Now
Yeah.
see, I've done that. I've done that before, where I've been everybody wants me, and I get to go to the highest bidder, and then still win a
I
Stanley
only
Cup.
got 2 offers, even though I was the best. Same.
What?
Yeah.
I had like 30 of the 32.
But this was NHL 19. This was NHL
I know.
19.
I know. I was
Okay,
right with you.
all right.
I got
So-
different.
So
perks.
those are your teams. Your Nashville team, or you've got all the teams that you like watching.
right.
But you root for Detroit.
I absolutely root for Detroit.
Okay.
I have the ESPN alerts at all times for my Detroit sports team. But if I
Okay.
had to follow a different team in each of the four, obviously we've already gone over NFL. It's Jacksonville and New England.
Yeah.
The NHL, I really don't have a team that I truly follow. I follow more
Penguins.
so. I follow more so a player, which would be
Crosby
Alex
suck.
Ovechkin. I love Ovi. I don't care. So I guess I followed them. I guess I follow the Capitals a little bit, but not a
Crapitals?
lot. NBA wise, obviously the Pistons. I really that's probably of the four. That's probably my least. So, but if I had to follow another team, I've always been fond of the Celtics for some reason.
Okay.
So I follow them as well.
Oh, so you're a Boston team.
Yeah, I follow a lot of the Boston.
As
So
long
you're
as you
not a
don't say the
Detroit-
Bruins.
You're not a Detroit
As long
team.
as you
You're a
don't say
Boston
the
team.
Bruins.
I don't. Okay, I follow the original six too. So I like all the original six teams except for Chicago.
See,
I cannot stand Chicago.
basketball. Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team.
Right.
We just don't. So,
gotta
growing
go
up,
Philly.
whenever I was introduced to screw Philly,
I know.
Screw
I
Phila.
just
Screw
said it.
Phila. Screw Phila and Kevin Hart.
Oh wow! How
Oh,
dare
wow.
you take shots at
Man.
Kevin Hart?
Johnson,
What did Kevin
Hart?
Hart do
What
to
did he do to
you?
you?
He's a Phila fan.
Who cares?
Whoa. If you're from Pittsburgh, you don't like Philly
Okay.
anything. You don't like Philly
Okay.
anything. Anything. Like-
Okay.
Steelers are out of it. Great. We're still not rooting for Philly. The only time that we rooted for Philly, I'm looking at you.
You better.
Only time- The only
New England.
time we rooted for Philly was when they went against New England. That's the only time that we've
Hold
ever rooted.
Hold-
Both times.
hold on.
Ever.
So you wanted to root for them to win a Super Bowl, even
Yes.
though they're no, they're the hated crosstown rivals.
Yes.
No,
I will
see, nope.
gladly. Me,
You just lost
everybody-
credibility.
No.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what? I'm done with this podcast.
Whatever. Everybody, because that's how hated the Patriots were. That's how hated the Patriots were.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody
I don't
from
know what you're talking
Pittsburgh
about.
rooted
I like
for
the
Philly.
Patriots.
Everybody in Pittsburgh
That-
rooted for
see-
Philly.
See, that's Green Bay. I'm serious. Ask a Lions fan. That's Green Bay. It doesn't matter.
Ugh.
When the
That's-
Bucks beat them, that was literally the proudest moment of all Detroit fans' lives. Trust me,
Okay.
it was there. It was the feeling
Oh.
of success because we can't beat them, so somebody has to.
All right. Well, let's kill this. Let's kill this. Okay.
All right.
Let's go to
killing.
something that we can agree on, that we have a love for.
Okay.
Let's go gaming. You
Oh
said
boy.
you guys were saying that about your team, your little practice.
Yep. hmm
So video games, that is.
Mhm.
If you had to pick a go-to game to play,
Oh boy.
go-to
So-
one
Solo or teams?
doesn't matter.
Oh, see, that's different.
Just your go-to game overall.
NCAA.
Really?
I'm
NCAA
gonna.
football.
I will be even more specific than that. NCAA 06 specifically.
Okay.
2010. If I have to pick a team, it's 2010. A year. NCAA
Okay.
Xbox version. I took the UAB Dragons from a 0-star to a 5-star school. Yep, that's right. We won multiple championships. but to this day, to this day, I still have it saved on my Xbox 360. 7 seasons and never one time was invited to the national title game. Not one time.
Yikes.
Have not lost a game in 7 seasons. And I've never been, because that was before the playoffs of 4. The highest I've ever gotten was third.
Dang.
Over, and they've never let me play in the bowl game. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. At one time. And to this day, because of that, because I don't have the national discrepancy of that, I cannot get 5-star recruits.
Oof.
Yep. So I get 3 and 4 stars.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's you guys' go-to game. If you
Yep.
had to choose one go-to game.
If I have to choose one go-to, I can spend hours on that game and
Okay.
feel like minutes.
See,
Same.
Mine would probably see. It'd be a tough call between Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, that's a really good one too.
Yeah, right. Modern Warfare 2 or
No. You get one. That was the rule.
see.
You get
I'm,
one.
I'm speaking out loud. I'm not saying that that's it. I'm speaking
Oh,
out loud.
okay. All right.
Like it'd be Modern Warfare 2 or do I want Halo 2 or Halo 3? One or the other.
Halo 2 was way better.
Halo
than,
2 is pretty good. Yeah.
You gotta
So
go
if-
Halo 2.
So
All
Halo
3 of those
2,
games are good.
Halo 2
is
and
better than
Modern
2.
Warfare 2. Both are good in their own right. But because
The
of
Flood.
Cortana,
The Flood.
and the Flood, I'd have to choose Halo 2.
Yeah, that's a
I'd
solid.
have to choose. That'd be my go-to.
Solid game choice. I beat that on Legendary. It was probably the hardest game that I had ever played on a Legendary mode in Halo.
Yeah.
I beat them all on Legendary. That's the only one that I struggled with.
Okay.
The rest of them, I was like, all right, yeah, there were parts that, of course, you struggle. But that was the one game when you got into the flood situations that no matter how good I was, those
Dude,
flipping things kept
because they're
killing
coming
me.
from everywhere.
Yep,
And it's
I know,
there's
you
so
couldn't kill 'em.
many.
I know. You couldn't kill them.
Those
Didn't
little
matter.
poppers.
Oh, those freaking things. And you from full
Yep.
to 0 shields.
Yes.
And then one tap from something that comes behind you. You're
I
like,
know.
thank you, dude.
You think you
Fuck
got the
you.
last one, and somewhere there's a little one, last one, just crawling away somewhere.
Yep. And he's like, whack. You're like, you son of a. Yep.
Yep. All right. So I know you guys have a time constraint. Let's go to game that you're most looking forward to coming out soon.
Diablo 4.
Ooh, good choice. Good
Diablo 4.
choice.
I don't know. I really haven't looked too much into anything because everything that I've played recently has kind of been disappointing to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not really looking forward to anything because I don't want to get my hopes up about something.
I'll tell you what. I'm looking forward to the new Battlefield.
Okay.
I really am, because Battlefield for me, there really isn't that many Battlefields that have been let down. You know, there really isn't.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, that's
At
fair.
least for me.
They're always solid. I mean, there's always something to like about every one of them. So
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Battlefield 3 will always be my ultimate favorite of that
There you
series.
go. I started. Funny story. I started Battlefield with Bad Co 2, Bad Company 2.
Oh, wow.
That's what I started.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one to start with.
No,
Yes, it was.
absolutely.
Solid game.
So, all right. I haven't been paying attention. I here and there for games coming out, but I heard Cyberpunk was such a letdown, and that was the one I was looking forward to, and it just.
See, I haven't and haven't even played it. That's how, like, because of the turnoff of people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and it was really cool because a buddy of mine actually gifted it to me.
Okay.
So like, I didn't pay for it, and yeah,
Those
it
are
was
always nice.
great. It was
Unless
right,
they're-
right. It was
you know.
great. And long story short, it's just not been a game that I've been interested in starting yet.
Yeah.
And I want to give like it adequate time, and I haven't had enough time to give adequately to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Skyrim, right? I couldn't start a Skyrim game right now. I just don't have the time for it. So
Yeah.
it's like it's the same kind of concept, and I definitely don't want to not give it a chance. So
Solid choice.
But yep, but Diablo 4 and there's actually another Baldur's Gate game coming out.
I
I've been told.
heard.
So when that comes out,
Oh,
those will be the games that I go to.
fun fact, I at one point had the original Baldur's Gate, the one that you had to have 5 discs for.
Yep.
You put disc 1 in, you play to a certain point. It
Disc
said
2.
you've reached a certain point. Please insert disc 2. You literally
Yep.
had to eject the disc and put disc 2 in.
Yep. Same
Yep.
thing with Final Fantasy 8.
Yes.
The original Final Fantasy 8.
Welcome to original PC gaming.
Right. Exactly.
You youngins.
Exactly. Yep. That fun fact, one of my favorite games PC though was Stronghold. If you've never
Really?
played Stronghold, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's a middle-aged setting, and basically depending on how you play it, it has a campaign mode, of course.
Yeah.
You have to do certain things in order to advance, but they also have like the more games that you get involved in, from 1 to 3,
Sure.
the difference is amazing, and you can actually like play competitively online with people, build kingdoms, do that kind of stuff. Huge fun game. I spent hours playing that as well. So
Okay.
very familiar.
I played a lot of PC games back then in the Windows 95 age.
Whoa,
Yep.
whoa. Listen. RuneScape doesn't count.
I wasn't gonna say RuneScape.
What
That was like 2008. No,
Whoa.
I'm talking like the original Rainbow Six games that you can't even find. You can't even play them on Steam anymore, except for like one. I'm talking. There's a game out there. Not that very many people know it, but my dad got me hooked on it, and I have it. It's available on Steam. It's called Impossible Creatures. It was a freaking amazing game. I mean, you took 2 creatures, put them together, played in a strategy style game, and you could just kill
Wait a
people.
minute. Okay, so there's I know I've played it. I can't remember the name of it. Similar concept. You take 2 creatures, you mate them, and it creates a new creature, right?
Right.
But
right.
you get to design what it looks like, and you
Mhm.
just go about and you can fight other creatures.
Yeah, you probably played Impossible Creatures then.
Hold
It's
on.
on
Okay,
Steam.
I gotta look this up now.
Go to Steam and
I gotta
look it
look
up.
this up.
But the last game that I was gonna say is one of the original Unreal Tournaments was also another game that I used to
Ooh,
play.
okay.
Those games were fun.
No. Oh, wait a minute. No, see what I'm talking about. These things are literally you could. No, maybe. No, these look like
No,
alien
maybe.
creatures. The one that I'm thinking about was like alien creatures.
Oh yeah, these ones are like actual animal. Like you could take a cheetah and a fish, and it would have the head of a fish and the body and legs and tail of a cheetah. But you could go all the way down to the tail. It was
Oh,
great.
nice.
Yeah, I can't think of the game. I'll look it up at some point. But it was literally these. It's a planet. It's a brand new planet. Like
Oh yeah, this isn't a planet.
yeah, and you create this own thing, and you kill things. You get points, and then you can upgrade your creature to have something, or evolve to something, and it gives you another thing. It's a pretty cool game. I'll have to find it. But all right. So last but not least, what is your favorite game genre / game?
Oh,
Not your
geez.
go-to. This is different from your go-to.
Right. Oh man.
So favorite genre to start with.
Favorite genres? I gotta go first person shooters.
Okay.
Probably RPG.
Okay. See, me personally, I can't do RPGs. Certain RPGs, like I cannot do Final Fantasy. Just cannot. I
got you.
I'm not a big fan of the turn base.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the RPG. Like to
Ooh.
me, I guess it's unfair to put certain things in like a classification. But to me, like I like those kinds of games. Have you ever played Dragon Age? I like that
Yeah.
kind of turn style. Like
Okay.
that's different than Final Fantasy turn style. That's
See,
a different type. But I like those. It's hard though, because some of them, like I said, to me, putting a classification, I put Skyrim in RPG format, even though it's not. It
okay.
is.
Okay. I can understand
So-
that. So like turn based, but similar to that is Civilization. Love Civilization.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's a good game.
Learn technologies, get new troops, attack other. Oh man. I love
But as far as
That's
games,
strategy,
go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, as
Uh,
far as games for me, I'll just make mine real quick. Champions Return to Arms was always probably my favorite game in a genre.
it. Okay.
So, again, it's a different style of RPG, but it's basically a game like Diablo, okay,
Okay.
that was before Diablo, and it was like a PS2 game back in the day with Baldur's Gate time frame,
Okay.
and the original game was actually Champions of Norrath. That was the first game, and the second
Okay.
game in the series was called Champions Return to Arms, and it did not exist in Michigan. I bought the game in California. I was 13 and the game was in California. I bought it for $40 in California
Hey.
and brought it home. It by far, if you guys ever want to try it out, I'll literally bring my PS2. I will show you this game. I still have it. Absolutely love the game, and I still play it.
See, I never had a PlayStation, so all those games. But when I played on it, Twisted Metal, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I have Twisted Metal 4. I'm familiar with the games.
Mm.
Very good games. Solid.
So, Austin?
So this whole time, I've been forgetting. Once you said turn based, I completely and utterly forgot about the Pokemon games.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I forgot about it because that's all I. That's literally ever since I was a kid. I had this freaking like I don't even know. It was like a life-size Charmander stuffed animal. My whole life has been wrapped around Pokemon. I am on the like on a binge of trying to collect all the Pokemon games. Obviously, besides Pokemon Green. I've been on a binge. I have almost every single one from Gen 3 on up right now. So I just got to work on the Gen 1s, which are the hardest ones to get because I don't have a Game Boy Color, but
Including
I
the
do.
GameCube?
that does not include consoles. No.
Oh, so then you don't have everyone.
No, I don't have
I-
the GameCube at all.
I grew. Oh man, so we had the Super Nintendo. When I grew up with the Super Nintendo. Well, I grew up with the regular Nintendo first, then the Super Nintendo. From the Super Nintendo, it was a combo: the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Okay,
Mhm.
and then from there, we had that for the longest time. Didn't have anything else, and then we got the GameCube, and we had the GameCube ever since until I got the Xbox.
No 64? What the heck, man?
No, I know.
That's what
I
I
missed
started
out on a
on.
bunch of that.
What I
Morrowind.
started on.
I missed out on Morrowind. I missed out on.
Morrowind.
I know. My cousin had it, so that was my only chance to play it. Same
What?
with
No
PlayStation.
Pokemon Snap? Come on.
I never played
But-
Pokemon Snap.
It was
I
actually
had-
a ball.
Pokemon Coliseum and
Yes.
Pokemon Gale of Darkness.
Okay.
There was 3 games I used to play as a kid on my 64. Some random soccer game,
Mhm.
Diddy Kong Racing,
Oof.
and Pokemon Stadium.
Okay. So Mario Party, the original, by far was the best game that I played on N64.
Okay.
Then you had Mario 64, which
That
was
was a
equally
good
as
one.
good.
That was
Yep,
a
which
good
was
one.
equally as good. And then I played Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
Okay.
So, and then of course Mario Kart. Can't go wrong with Mario Kart.
You can't. You can't.
No.
So
Double Dash, still by far one of the best games I've ever played.
you cannot beat the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it was
Mario
a good
Kart. You
system.
can't.
It was a good, yeah, it's a
Because
good system.
that's where they introduced the battle. That's where the battle
Yep.
was, man. Oh. Mm. All right, gentlemen. I think on that we're gonna end it.
Okay,
Appreciate you
right.
guys. Appreciate you guys hopping on.
absolutely.
Season 2, episode 2.
Yeah,
And
hey, there
you
go.
guys made history. You're the
Yeah.
first video recorded podcast.
Well, look at that.
Well, I'm glad
We'll
we can make
take it.
history with you.
Interview with.
Happy to be a part.
I appreciate it. I really do. And
Anytime.
you guys are excited for the future.
Of course.
GGR, Gaming Gone Reckless.
Yes, you got it.
Podcast coming out for that.
There you
Ooh,
go.
Looking forward to it.
get to introduce or interview Silas, aka GGR Reckless, and John,
Nice.
aka GGR Frogger, and
you
go
go.
over the origins of GGR.
There you go.
Nice.
And then
That'll be good.
eventually check it out. The admins of GGR.
There you go.
So
Let's wait till COVID ends on that one so we can all be in the same room.
that'd be nice.
That
That'd be
would be good.
nice.
We're also gonna have to do this again when COVID's done so we can all be in the
Yes.
same room.
For sure. For
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly. Well, all right, gentlemen. I'm gonna end it on that. Again, thank you for hopping on. And
Yeah, anytime.
Absolutely.
I'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you then.
Listen, if you liked what you just listened to and watched, do me a favor. My dog, do you see my dog? See my dog right there? He would love if you liked and subscribed. Right, Jack? Look at that. Okay? Do me a favor. Like and subscribe for the dog. Like and subscribe. Share it with a friend. Just do it. Just do it for Jack. Do it for Jack. Okay? Just do it. Just do it. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.